The Haunting of Shadow House. Max was an ordinary young man, but what set him apart from his peers was his adventurous spirit and an insatiable curiosity for exploring mysterious and abandoned places, particularly cemeteries and old houses. His friends often teased him for his peculiar hobby, but Max was undeterred. He thrived on the thrill of discovery and the unknown. One day, while having coffee at a local cafe, Max overheard an old man telling a chilling tale about an abandoned house on the outskirts of their city. The old man spoke in hushed tones, his eyes wide with fear. He claimed that the house was cursed and that everyone who had ever entered it had vanished without a trace. Intrigued, Max listened intently, absorbing every detail. The house, according to the old man, had once belonged to a wealthy family who mysteriously disappeared one night, leaving everything behind. Over the years, many had dared to enter, but none had ever returned. The townspeople believed the house was haunted and avoided it at all costs. Naturally, Max's curiosity was piqued. He decided he had to see the house for himself. Max spent the next few days preparing for his adventure. He gathered all the necessary equipment: a flashlight with extra batteries, a sturdy backpack, a rope, a camera, and a notebook to document his findings. He also researched the house's history, looking for any clues that might help him understand what he was getting into. The more he learned, the more determined he became to uncover the truth. On a dark, stormy night, Max set out for the house. The sky was overcast, and the wind howled through the trees, creating an eerie atmosphere. As he approached the house, he felt a chill run down his spine. The house loomed before him, dark and foreboding, its windows like empty eyes staring into the void. Max took a deep breath and stepped onto the creaky porch. He hesitated for a moment, his heart pounding in his chest, then pushed the door open. It swung open with a loud creak, and Max entered, his flashlight casting a dim glow on the dusty, cobweb-covered interior. The air inside was cold and stale, and the silence was almost deafening. Max's footsteps echoed through the empty halls as he made his way deeper into the house. He explored each room carefully, noting the decaying furniture and the peeling wallpaper. Everything was covered in a thick layer of dust, as if time had stood still since the family had disappeared. In one of the upstairs bedrooms, Max found an old, tattered journal lying on a nightstand. He picked it up and carefully opened it, his curiosity growing with each page he turned. The journal belonged to the family's eldest son, and it detailed their lives in the house, their hopes, dreams, and fears. But as Max read further, the entries became darker and more disturbing. The son wrote about strange occurrences: whispers in the night, shadowy figures moving through the halls, and an overwhelming sense of dread that seemed to pervade the house. Max's heart raced as he read the final entry. It spoke of a terrible curse that had been placed on the house by a vengeful spirit. The family had tried to escape, but the curse had trapped them, consuming them one by one. The last words in the journal were a desperate plea for help, followed by a chilling warning. Beware the shadows. They are watching. They are waiting. Just as Max finished reading, his flashlight flickered and went out, plunging him into darkness. Panic set in as he fumbled to replace the batteries, but the oppressive blackness seemed to close in around him. He heard whispers, soft and indistinct, growing louder and more insistent. Shadows danced at the edge of his vision, moving closer with each passing second. Max managed to get the flashlight working again and quickly made his way out of the bedroom. He stumbled down the hall, his heart pounding, the whispers growing louder, more menacing. He could feel something following him, unseen but ever present. Desperate to escape, he ran down the stairs and toward the front door. But as he reached the door, it slammed shut with a force that shook the house. Max pulled at the handle, but it wouldn't budge. He was trapped. He turned to face the darkness, his flashlight casting wild beams of light around the room. The shadows seemed to converge, taking on vague, humanoid shapes. They whispered his name, taunting him, driving him to the brink of madness. In a final act of desperation, Max ran to the nearest window and tried to break it open, but it was as if an invisible force held it shut. He screamed for help, but his voice was swallowed by the oppressive silence of the house. Exhausted and terrified, Max collapsed to the floor, his flashlight rolling away and leaving him in darkness once more. Hours passed, and the whispers grew quieter, the shadows receding. Max lay on the floor, too frightened to move, his mind racing with fear and confusion. He didn't know how much time had passed when he finally summoned the courage to stand up. He retrieved his flashlight and made his way back upstairs, determined to find another way out. In one of the attic rooms, Max discovered a hidden door behind an old wardrobe. He pushed the wardrobe aside and opened the door, revealing a narrow staircase leading down into darkness. With no other options, he descended the stairs, his flashlight barely penetrating the gloom. At the bottom of the stairs, Max found himself in a small, musty room filled with strange symbols and artifacts. In the center of the room was a large, ornate mirror, its surface covered in a thick layer of dust. Max approached the mirror and wiped away the dust, revealing his reflection. But the reflection wasn't his own. Instead, he saw the face of the family's eldest son, his eyes filled with despair. The reflection spoke, its voice a haunting echo of the whispers that had plagued Max. "You shouldn't have come here," it said. "The curse is real. Now you are trapped, just like us." Max recoiled in horror, but the reflection continued. "There is only one way to break the curse. You must find the source of the evil and destroy it. It lies within the heart of the house, hidden from view. But be warned, the house will not let you go easily." Determined to free himself and the trapped spirits, Max set off to find the source of the curse. He explored every inch of the house, uncovering hidden passages and long-forgotten secrets. The house seemed to fight him at every turn, the whispers growing louder, the shadows more aggressive. But Max refused to give up. Finally, in the deepest, darkest part of the house, Max found a small, locked room. Using an old, rusty key he had found earlier, he unlocked the door and stepped inside. The room was empty except for a single, ancient chest. Max approached the chest and opened it, revealing a dark, swirling mist. The mist seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, and Max knew he had found the source of the curse. With a deep breath, Max plunged his hand into the mist, feeling a searing pain as it tried to consume him. He focused all his energy on destroying the evil, drawing on every ounce of strength he had left. Slowly, the mist began to dissipate, its power waning. As the last of the mist faded away, the house seemed to shudder, the oppressive atmosphere lifting. The whispers ceased, and the shadows melted into nothingness. Max stumbled out of the room, exhausted but victorious. He made his way to the front door, which now opened easily, and stepped out into the fresh, cool night air. The townspeople were shocked when Max returned, disheveled and pale but alive. He told them everything he had discovered, and the old man who had first told the tale nodded in understanding. The curse had been broken, and the house was finally at peace. Max's adventure had changed him. He no longer sought out the thrill of the unknown, content with the knowledge that some mysteries were better left unsolved. The abandoned house became a place of legend, its dark history fading into memory. And Max, now a local hero, lived his life with a newfound appreciation for the ordinary and the safe.